Hi, Dave. In 2 days, the season starts. I guess at what point do you stop or transition out of training camp mode and into we got to get ready to play a team here?
That was, for the most part, it was today. We went through some special team stuff on Saturday. We had a day off yesterday, so today was back. And even though there was some, there's some stuff with the waiver wire and stuff that had some impact today, that we have 2 days to prepare, and that was our focus in practice. I thought we had a very good practice, and have one more tomorrow. But these last 2 days, you got to get ready to play. It's time to go, and training camp is over, and it's time to get on to the season.
Thank you.
Next question, Tony Brar, Oilers TV.
Hey, Dave. Just spoke to Ryan McLeod. Wanted to get your thoughts on what you've seen from the player that's allowed him to secure what looks like a top 12 spot in the practice today.
Yeah, we still got lots of tinkering to do yet, so I wouldn't anoint anybody in there yet. But he's a young player that he's getting closer. You see the process that players go through to mature, and his game. He's got size. He's got the skill. He's starting to understand what he needs to do in his role on the team, and he's getting very close, very close. So we'll see where things go the next couple of days, but he's worked his way to this point, and he's had a good camp. He's anxious to play, and if he gets that opportunity, I think we're going to see a good player.
I know last training camp, he seemed to have made an impression with his teammates and with the coaching staff. What are some of the differences that you're seeing in his game now that maybe weren't there or as developed last year?
You know what? As you mature as a player, especially a role, that we're looking for him to play as a third or a fourth line center, there's details in his game that the maturity helps with. He just reads that he has to, on defense, stopping on pucks, competitive, just knowing the structure of how you want to play. His face-off stuff has gotten better. So the little details of a game that as a junior player you don't know, but it takes a year or two in the American League, and then you get up and you understand the role and what are the things that are really important to help, the things that are important that he can do to help our team win. And the maturity that he's gaining, he understands that, and he's put himself in a position where he's close to an NHL player.
Next question, Jason Gregor, TSN 1260.
Dave, we know today there's lots of teams that put veteran players on waivers. Some of it's for cap implications more than anything. If he doesn't get claimed, are you expecting Jujhar Khaira to be your fourth line center on opening night?
Well, if he doesn't get claimed, he's still on our team, so we can use him wherever we want to use him. But the waiver today, you just look at it. There's a lot of business involved with the waiver wire today, and we just got to see where things shake out tomorrow. We're not looking to lose anybody. We hope we don't lose anybody, but it's a very unique time with the taxi squads and with the salary cap. There's a lot of factors that come into play. So hopefully everybody gets through and we can go about our business, but we'll see where that gets to tomorrow.
We saw it in both scrimmages. You had Leon and Connor split up on the 3-on-3. Now they played a lot of it together. Can you kind of take us through your mindset on splitting those two up 3-on-3 and what you like about it?
They'll still end up playing a bit 3-on-3 because of the change that we're trying to make, but just trying to balance it out a little bit.
Next question, Rob Chichkowski, Post Media.
Hi, Dave. I know you've had to go through a lot in a very short period of time to get ready for the season opener. So if there's one thing that you can stress to your guys going into that first game, what's that going to be?
Well, there's more than one thing we want to stress, but we want to make sure there's two things: very competitive, to start. I mean, making sure that our ability to compete as hard as we can is there, and consistency in what we're trying to do. That's those are the two things. When you miss as much time as we have, you got to get the summer hockey out of you, and you got to get consistent in your details of how we want to play as a team. So that's we'll call each of those a half. We'll get to one whole one: competitive and consistency.
Not bad. Everybody says the start is crucial in a short season like this, but at the same time, you're always playing against the teams you have to catch. So it's making up ground might not be as tough as it is in the past. How do you approach that whole thing? How important is the first 7-8 games of the season?
Well, like you say, every team is stressing that right now, and it's not just you're playing the same teams over and over again. So every point is going to be valuable, whether they're overtime points, shootout points. Every shot or every point is going to become very valuable because exactly like you say, it's going to be harder to pick up points, harder to gain ground. So you got to make sure you're ready at the start, and like I say, be competitive and make sure you're consistent in what you're doing, and you got to find ways to win hockey games. My prediction is going to be tight all year, and that consistency is going to be a big factor in whether you can pull through a playoff spot.
Next question, Paul Gazzola, Oilers TV.
Hey, Dave. Dominic and Leon have skated for a few skates together now. How have they looked to you, and are you comfortable keeping them together going forward here?
Yeah, they're starting. You can tell that they have chemistry, but we had to get Dominic up and going. He missed about a week. So today in practice was the first time you really look and you feel like he's back up to full speed. So so far so good. We know we have some other players that could play there if it doesn't go the way we want, but the line looked pretty good today.
Next question, Guillaume Francois Lapresse.
Hi, Dave. I know you touched a bit on the 3-on-3 earlier. I just wanted to know from a coaching point of view whether or not you plan to put more emphasis on both 3-on-3 overtime as well as shootouts, given the way that the schedule will be played out this year.
We always put a lot of emphasis on it because those are valuable points, and even in a regular season, an 82-game season, those 1 or 2 points, it's amazing. You're coming down to the end, and those points either dictate being in the playoffs or dictate home ice in the playoffs, so they're very valuable. But this year, I think you'll even see more of a value on them just because I think things are going to be so tight. The teams you're playing against, everybody is going to be scratching and clawing for those points. So any way you can get them, the better off you are. So there'll be a great deal of influence put on those aspects of the game.
All right, thank you.
Last question, Jason Gregor, TSN 1260.
Dave, going back to your defense, and you've been pretty consistent with the pairings. Do you get a sense of what you have with them, or do you kind of have to see it for a few games to really know, at least with the 2 new pairs of Larson Jones and Barry and Russell?
Well, I've got a pretty good sense of what people can do. Cuckoo coming in is the guy we're trying to get a read on a little bit, and but everybody else understands how we want to play, want to go about things. I would agree with you in the fact that it'll probably take a few games to get up and going to see exactly how the usage goes, the special teams go, just the rhythm of the D back there. The one thing I like about our group is I feel like we have balance back there. We've got some puck movers, we've got some guys that can defend. I feel like we've got good balance throughout our 6, or not just our 6, our 9 back there, but the 6 are going to be playing. We feel like we can have pairs that have pretty good balance. So we'll see how it goes, but so far so good. They've looked good in camp, and we'll see where the numbers, who ends up playing on opening night. But we're going to need all our defensemen, and in a shortened season like this, we expect all of them to play, and we have confidence in all of them.
Last year, you talked very openly about the importance of a good start, and you really, you guys got off to a good start, and you ran McDavid and Draisaitl a lot of minutes early in the season. This year, as you mentioned, it's a shorter year, but the start's still important. Have you thought about like running heavy minutes early for guys? Will you taper back from that? What's kind of the strategy with minutes for your
all depends on how the games are going. If you get to a game where you have lots of power plays, they're going to get more minutes. But you also have to be cognizant. We got 4 games in the first 6 days, right? So it's you have to be cognizant about where you are and the type of schedule we have. The second part of that is I believe we have better depth this year. So, you're going to have some minutes maybe spread around a little more.